Next up for us, we have 1 p.m. Eastern action. Tennessee Titans 9-4, 4-2 on the road at Pittsburgh Steelers, 6-1, 4-2-1 at home. We're at Heinz Field in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. 36 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 9 miles per hour. Tennessee opening up as 2.5-point favorites. That's moved to 1.5 at some books, 2 at others. And if you still want the minus 2.5, it's at plus 106 at Pinnacle. The total in this spot opened at 41.5 and is just sitting there at 41.5. Now, Flush Allen says, I see this as one of these spots where Philly puts up a big number. So let's see where the cash lies in this spot. We have, oh, sorry, that was the last one. Here we go. We have 3,581 tickets in, 50% of the tickets on the Steelers and 63% of the cash. 36% of the tickets on the under and 56% of the cash on the under. There's JT in the house is working, but popping in to say, let's cash. Thank you, JT. My guy, thank you for taking the time. All right, let's break this one down. And I do have a note that I'm going to need the injury report here. So let me just move over. All right, let's go. 36 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 9 miles per hour at Heinz Field. The Titans coming off a dominant 20-0 home victory over the Jacksonville Jaguars that saw them pick off Trevor Lawrence 4 times. It was their first home shutout in 20 years. 20 years. Jeff Swain was the leading receiver with 3 catches for 45 yards. A lot of that was because Julio Jones did return to the lineup for the first time in more than a month, and he took a lot of attention. He'd missed the past 3 games with a hamstring injury, and he caught 4 passes for 33 yards. He's missed 6 games this year because of various injuries. Deonta Foreman had 13 carries for 47 yards. The defense had 3 sacks, 6 quarterback hits, and prompted 4 holding calls in a false start. And it was a direct result of pressure, but not blitzes. Titans moved closer to clinching the AFC South for a second straight year. They have no one left on their schedule with a winning record. Now, we've already talked about Birdie's interest and possibly back in the Colts. I believe the number was plus 1,400, but the Titans have a very easy schedule moving forward, but they're clearly a beat-up team. Des Fitzpatrick was placed on the COVID list today. And Derrick Henry is expected to return from the injured reserve as early as the team's Week 18 matchup with the Texans, which is shocking, and I love it. But I did not expect him to come back. You have Tommy Hudson, their tight end, placed on injured reserve. His season is over. Troy Carter, their fullback, is hurting with an ankle injury. Then Tierra Tart, David Long Jr., Janoris Jenkins were all inactive last week and are listed as questionable this week. Now we have these Pittsburgh Steelers up next. These Steelers coming off extra rest and prep after a wild 36-28 loss at Minnesota last Thursday, down 23-0 at the half. We're down 29 points in the third quarter before mounting a furious comeback. Vikings had a 300-66 advantage in total yards in the first half. Ben goes 28-40 for 308 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Chase Claypool caught 8 passes for 93 yards. Deontay Johnson, 5 for 76. James Washington, 4 catches for 65 yards and a touchdown. Freiermuth, 2 catches for 32 yards, 1 touchdown, and almost caught the touchdown that could have led to a 2-point convert to tie the game. Najee Harris ran 20 times for 94 yards, but their defense was awful. They lost T.J. Watt to a hamstring injury in the second quarter and were incapable of stopping the run. It looks like it's just a tweak. Watt is hopeful to be back in the lineup this week. Dalvin Cook diced him up for 205 yards on the ground. He set a franchise record with 153 rushing yards in the first half. He needed only 14 carries to do that. The Steelers are allowing the most average yards per rush in the league. 5 yards per rush on these bums. 0 sacks, 6 quarterback hits. Akila Witherspoon had 2 interceptions. Cornerback Joe Hayden missed his 4th straight game. John LeGlue made his first NFL start, filling in at left guard for B.J. Finney. He's the 4th starter at left guard this year. Outside linebacker Alex Smith was hurt in the third quarter and did not return. He's expected to have avoided major injury, they say about Alex Smith. T.J. Watt, supposed to be back. And then Spillane, Finney, Hayden, and Buggs, all inactive last week, questionable this week. Here we go. Bebsie, market moving slowly towards the home dog here. Titans, Steelers, take it away.
I know Tennessee is banged up. I know they're on the road. I just don't understand why this line is – I don't know why they're not favorites here. Pittsburgh is They're 6-1. Remember, they tied the Detroit Lions. I can't see Claypool's antics last week not being an issue. Like, what is with the Steelers and drafting ultra talented wide receivers who also happen to have discipline issues? Claypool, Juju and his TikTok and dancing on logos. Antonio Brown comes to mind. Like, what is going on with these Pittsburgh Steelers receivers? Also, Ben had a pretty big game last week. I don't see him putting together another big game, especially against the Titans defense that has impressed me this year, and I think everybody else. So why is this line favoring Pittsburgh? Do they believe that? I mean, when's the last time Pittsburgh had a losing season? Is this? I just don't. I don't get it. I don't get why Tennessee doesn't win this game by 7 at least.
Did anything that you saw from that 20-0 win over Jacksonville have you believing in this Titans offense?
No, I mean, I said last week that the Urban Meyer hatred factor meant that the Jags were not going to come out and play a good game. But I also think they did what they had to do against a weaker divisional opponent. And this is a team that sees the Colts, nipping at their heels. And I think they're going to play inspired football.
This game makes me extremely uncomfortable. It's seeing that the big bets are coming in on Pittsburgh right now and the market's moving towards them is very difficult to figure out. Twatty from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I wish we had Mark Schillingberg here. I don't know if we do right now. I don't think we do. But Twatty sees a 24-13 Titans victory. Is there anything that you want to make official here? Because this game, for me, is going to need more time.
It just makes me uncomfortable. The fact that the only reason I'm not betting this game is because the line doesn't make sense to me. Like, I'm not looking at this and I think it's in any way, shape, or form accurate. And it should be at this time of the year. I don't get it. It feels like a trap. It feels like you want me to take the Titans. Because they should outright win. Like, this is, if I'm going to bet this, I'm betting money line.
I feel like it's just so often we see this Pittsburgh team taking sharp action. It just feels like it's same story over and over again here with this Titans squad. So, at this point, we have Tennessee sitting they open as 2.5-point favorites. We see 1.5s on the board right now. Market clearly moving towards the Pittsburgh Steelers. Do you have any feeling on this total here, Bebsie? It opened at 41.5 and there's been no movement.
Oh yeah, Gerald Jones just corrected me. This is how little I've slept. Of course. You're absolutely right. I don't know what the fuck's the matter with me. But still, it still seems too small.
Do you have any interest in this total at 41.5?
It's real low. I don't think it's crazy for it to possibly go over. But I also, like I said, Big Ben's arm looked halfway decent last game. I don't think he has 2 of those in a row. So tough to say. I lean over here.
Yeah, but the Steelers' defense just looked so atrocious. I don't see why the Titans wouldn't be able to put up points when they know they're going to have to. It was a very different game when they played Jacksonville, because Jacksonville was incapable of moving the ball, so there's no need to risk anything. Here, they're probably going to have to take some risks. I think this is
Yeah,
too low.
and again, I think they're well aware that the Colts are right behind them, and this is a must-win situation for them. They can't afford to lose this game to an inferior Steelers team.
Dennis Garcia says, "What's the floor for this total? 37." Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking, would I be surprised if one team wins 20-17? The answer is no. I guess that wouldn't be a surprise. I think that's the floor. It's 37. Much love, Real Deal Prime, my guy. Be well. The sharp bets have come in, or it looks like the bigger bets, I should say, have come in on the under at this point. 36% of tickets, 56% of the cash, but this is just too low. And to think that TJ Watt is going to be healthy here is I don't know if I can do that. And the whole Roethlisberger arm situation, I think that script will change a little bit as we're getting to the very last games of his career. Twatty says possibly 34 as the low. Let me just see. Has Pinnacle done anything with this? Let me just see here quickly if Pinnacle's done anything with this. They moved it at all on the total. Let me just move. Yeah, they've moved it towards the over. This was initially juiced to the under. The under was by a penny. It was minus 106 to the under. It's now minus 102 to the under. And that makes sense. I think this game goes over. The Titans had no reason to do anything offensively. I'm gonna move on the over. A bet that I've made very rarely. A lot more unders for me generally. Titans full game over is something I'm moving on. Bebsie, do we move on, or is there anything you want to make official here?
I'm good to move on.